We are live. Live. And I messed up that previous recording, and I was going to have technical difficulties if I didn't stop it. So, yeah, here we are. It is what it is, like usual, just posting really fast. Again, a lot of my traffic comes from Instagram, guys. You got to understand that. So, I got to post, make sure people know I'm live. It's 3 o'clock on a random holiday Thursday. I don't expect too much traffic, but I did want to get on here, be consistent, do a UFC Baku breakdown. People said they preferred the live stream, so I'm gonna continue to do live streams. And yeah, so as always, I try to place a thumbnail real fast. Let's try to get that going. Dun, 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 dun. View channel. Still doesn't let me. Boom, boom, boom. So we're going to get started in just a second. Again, waiting for a couple of people to join this. Then we go from there. And it's that simple, guys. All right, here we go. Now I'm able to put my little thumbnail. UFC Baku. All right, cool. Cool. What's up, guys? If you're here, let me know in the comments. It's so much better when I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. That's one of the reasons I really like the live. You guys as well, let me know that you prefer me doing live. So in order for me to be a little more consistent, even these fight night cards, I'm going to be coming on here giving you my best bets, predictions, and more. If you're new here, I'm the MMA Casual. I talk everything UFC and do full card breakdowns and bets. So starting us off, guys, UFC Fight Night. It's about as good as it could get. Khalil Roundtree coming off a rough loss against, Poatan, and then Jamal Hill coming off of two straight losses. Poatan being one of them, Hiri Prochazka being the other. So I'm expecting a lot of violence in this main event. A lot of violence in the card in general. I think it's pretty freaking good. And I'm excited. And like I always say, I love Saturday cards. Early Saturday cards. When you're able to start watching fights at freaking 11 in the morning. This is not like Abu Dhabi, but about noon, you get up, start your day. You already got fights. Fights are over. You continue on, go out, do whatever you want. It's your life. But definitely better than staying up until 1 in the morning sometimes. So, yeah, let's get right to it. First fight of the night, guys. We're going to go with Hamdi and Mr. Muhammad Usman. Okay, and again, I'm on the Hard Rock app here, guys, and I'm gonna tell you best bets, where there's value, who I think is gonna win. But more importantly, if you want my exclusive bets, guys, you could get it through my Instagram account. You go to my Instagram, you subscribe, $4.99 a month. $4.99 a month. It's really nothing, right? And you get to I'm going. You don't have to put money on all of that, obviously, but you see what direction I'm going. And yeah, it's $4.99 a month. I'm also on Winnable if you want text notifications. But let's get right to it, guys. Let me go right over here to UFC. And starting off the card with a real mess, a real heavyweight mess. It's that simple. All right. You got the Egyptian Olympian wrestler with zero cardio against what you would expect to be one of the best heavyweights in the UFC. If you just looked at him, saw his last name, you would assume that Mr. Usman over here would be taking everybody down at 235 pounds of muscle and ragdolling everybody. But that's not the case whatsoever. And as soon as I saw this fight and I saw the odds, I said, I'm staying away from everything. Every possible bet here just looks like absolute garbage to me. Right now, Muhammad Usman is a plus 125 underdog. Mr. Hamdi Abdulwahab is a minus 155 favorite. We've seen a little bit of line movement. I think it's narrowing down a little. I believe Hamdi was minus 200 at one point. And I'm going to say this again. I don't like this fight. Okay. Like I said, Hamdi, an Olympic Egyptian wrestler, doesn't make him a winner. And I don't know how often you hear about Egyptian wrestling, but personally, I've never heard of it. I think he's just one sloppy son of a gun. He's floppier now. He is sloppy as hell. He got busted for steroids a few years back, took a long layoff, came back, got a split decision win that was a robbery. And then you have Muhammad Usman, on the other hand, who's coming off of two back-to-back losses and just doesn't look good. He looks wobbly in there. His cardio kind of holds up, but he's just somebody that in mixed martial arts I have zero confidence in. I think he's not very good. And like I said, you would assume his frame, his athleticism, and his strength to translate into the octagon, and it just doesn't. So what do I expect in this fight? I expect a lot of sloppiness. I expect a guy who could barely stay on his feet in Usman, and then a guy who has zero cardio but some wrestling to just gas out. So round one, I know Hamdi's going to come in here. He is going to get the takedown. He's going to look better than Usman, right? But come round two, all of a sudden, we got these guys breathing on each other, falling on each other, clinched up against the cage, tripping up, and I just think it's going to be an absolute mess. So I recommend staying away. Honestly, I was really on the fence. My pick is going to be Hamdi, but I really thought about taking Muhammad Usman. I think there's a good chance he wins a sloppy decision. But again, not doing much. The over 1.5 rounds is minus 500. I like that a lot because none of these guys have finishing ability. The under plus 325. Over 2.5 is minus 275. The under is plus 195. Winning method, Usman by decision plus 300. Hamdi by decision plus 120. Hamdi by decision plus 120 seems pretty safe, but you know how I feel about the fight already. Fight to go the distance, yes, is minus 220. I think that's safe if you want to just kind of stick around with Usman as well. Yeah, fight to go the distance, I would say, is the bet I would take here, but even then, it's just too inconsistent. I could even see one of these guys getting finished or just being exhausted, someone being on their back and catching elbows, and that could be either way from any of these guys. So moving on, I don't want to spend too much time on the nonsense. All right. We got Mr. Beckov, the man, the myth, the legend, against Maxum. All right, this is straightforward. Beckov is now a minus 475 favorite. I believe he opened up around the minus 250 range, and I think that was a steal for him. If you got him at minus 2 anything, absolute steal. And then you got Maxum over here, which is sitting as a plus 350. In my opinion, this is one of my locks of the night. So if you're looking at parlay, contemplating which way I should turn, I think Tagir Ulanbekov is the way to go. Every time I make this joke, and it's continuous, beard, no mustache, you got to take him. You got to put some money. You got to sprinkle something. At minus 475, I know we're going to deter that a little, but I would definitely parlay this gentleman. And you know what? In this picture alone, I don't know how many people are in here now, but if you look at that picture, there's a little bit of Alabama family love in there. There's a lot of cousin love in there, you know? So I think this guy's going to come in here. Ulanbekov's just going to take down Maxum. Maxum's not going to be able to deal with Ulanbekov's grappling. Now, I think the argument for Azat is going to be that there's some striking ability, maybe a bit of a zippy striker, can look a little clean, but Tagir's underrated, I think, when it comes to the striking. And I think this is a huge jump in competition for Azat. I think Tagir's being a little bit disrespected here, even being matched up with this guy. I think Tagir walks in here, he dog walks him, he strikes however he wants. Once he gets the takedown, I could really see this fight ending by submission, but I really like Tagir by decision. If Azat can handle the grappling, I'm staying on the money line. I don't like any props here because this can go decision or it can be a sub. I wouldn't even be surprised if Tagir finds a knockout, but let's see some bets here. Total rounds. Over 1.5 is minus 500. Over 2.5 is minus 260. Under 2.5 is plus 185. So if you like a finish by Tagir, plus 185 under 2.5 rounds is a real nice bet. Winning method, Ulanbekov by decision, minus 120. Ulanbekov by knockout, plus 1,300. I don't hate that, man. I don't hate that. Some ground and pound maybe, but that's obviously a very long shot. We have Tagir by submission, plus 300. I think that's a nice prop. I think Tagir by sub, I think he could find the choke. I think Azat gets desperate or just starts getting picked apart, I think a nice club and sub is very possible for Tagir here. I don't like anything of Azat here. I wouldn't bet on him. If that's your bet, you go for it. But yeah, I am leaning the decision, but I could definitely see Tagir taking this fight. I do have him parlayed in a few bets, so you know. Are you online? Your first link wasn't working. Oh, let me go delete that on Instagram, man. My bad. I put the wrong link up. Yep. Delete. Sorry, guys, for those of you who are still on here. I don't want to take up the time to post on my Instagram or if you're just watching this video. But I want to make sure I get my people in here. So anyway, guys, Beckov's the pick. We're going to move forward. Oh man, oh man, oh man. You gotta give me a second. You gotta give me a second for this one because I have no idea what the UFC was thinking, but back-to-back fights like this is just ridiculous. Let me put live breakdown and we're all set. I'm gonna get right back to the action, guys. And let me know who's here, man. I see a few people starting to comment now. Nice to have you guys. I know this was last minute. I just put I was going live and went live. I should have probably told you guys sooner, but all right. So deleted that. Now we're back. Appreciate you guys being here like always. Just broke down a couple fights. You could rewind, but here we go. Going back to the Hard Rock app. All right. Next up. Beckov. Alexeva versus Sigula. Guys, this is an absolute disaster. And I'm just going to do something really fast. We have this female bantamweight fight, and then we have this female bantamweight fight. It's a double header of nonsense. And there's a lot that we don't know what to expect. And I always say I'm not a big better on women's MMA. Hong Kong Yadong Lewang fucked me up the other day. She knocked down her opponent twice. I had her within the distance, couldn't get it done. So those little things break my heart, and it makes me want to shy away from women's MMA. But I will be frank, I think there's some opportunities this week, right? Because in this, the Russian Rondo over here, Sigula versus Alexeva, I see a potential finish. I really like a finish here. I think Sigula's not UFC caliber. I'm not saying Alexeva's way better, but I think she is better. And I think she's somewhat UFC caliber, maybe lower level UFC caliber, but she is. And I think Alexeva here, if she finds her way to the ground with Sigula, I think she could find a sub. I really like the sub. And I took a sub prop bet in one of my parlays. It's a long shot, but I took it. But not only that, I did sprinkle an under. I sprinkled an under here because both of these girls, and I think Sigula has a 50% finish rate, not her wins, just her fights in general. 50% of her fights have ended by a finish, winning or losing. And then Alexeva has like a 60%. I'm going off my Tapology brain here and some research I was doing. But yeah, so I like Alexeva here. I think she's just better. I think she could make this a little rougher. I think she could close the distance, take down Sigula. I think she could find the sub. Sigula, honestly, can keep the distance, can be the more precise striker. But is she going to be able to just be moving backwards, look effective striking? I don't think so. I like Alexeva, who's going to come in, push the pace, try to take it down, look for a finish the whole time. This is women's MMA, like as women's MMA as we get. So be very weary if you're betting on this fight. I'm not taking any money lines. The pick is Alexeva. Minus 275 is too wide, but I do like her within the distance. Next up, a little rematch. We have here. Zelen versus Mullins. All right, guys. Melissa Mullins has done this fight before, and I tend to say history repeats itself, not necessarily always in MMA, but I tend to believe that, right? And when I look at these fighters and I see the difference between their first fight and now, the only thing I think is a little different is that Melissa Mullins is a little better striking while she's standing, right? Because we know what Melissa Mullins is going to do. Melissa Mullins is going to come raw dog, power drill into her opponent. She's going to try to take her down. And once she's on the ground, this chick has some power to mount her opponents or just come from the top and just wail on her opponents until they can't do anything anymore. And I think there's a possibility that happens, but I think Melissa Mullins could actually finish this standing. Okay. I don't see the appeal for Zelenkova here. She's a plus 200. Mullins is a minus 260. If you're betting on women's MMA, if you're going money line, I would prefer Mullins over Alexeva. My opinion, I think Mullins should handle her opponent fairly easily this time around. So let's look at the round lines. Over 1.5 is minus 250. Under is plus 180. Over 2.5 is minus 110. Under is minus 120. So the bookies think this doesn't go the distance, right? Because once we go to fight goes the distance, no is minus 145. Yes is plus 110. If this doesn't go the distance, I really do think it's Melissa Mullins just fucking wailing on her opponent. So I do like Melissa Mullins by finish at plus 125. Plus 125 is a move. Melissa Mullins is my pick. That's simple. Next up, and now it gets a little tricky. Mr. Turtle over here. Mr. Turtle. Nardiev versus Jung Young Park. All right, guys. I cannot stress this enough. This is a very close fight. I cannot stress this enough. Jung Park is my pick off the bat. I will tell you, I think that he's a suffocating fighter, and I think that Nardiev has not had to deal with anyone like Jung Park, and Jung Park has UFC experience. Not that Nardiev doesn't, right? But Jung Park's been around for quite some time. We know what he's going to do. He's going to look for the takedown. He's going to suffocate his opponent, and he's going to look for control time. And honestly, Nardiev in the fights I've seen has not shown me enough for me to believe that he's going to be able to get up in these exchanges, that he's going to be able to evade Jung Park's suffocating grappling. I don't think that's going to happen. Do I see a finish in this fight? Absolutely not. I like Jung Park in decision. I'm not so confident because I think Nardiev has made improvements. I think Nardiev is going to look better striking. And if Jung Park isn't able to get him down early, I think there may be some issues, right? So I think this fight's going to look a lot closer than it should. A lot of Mr. Park's fights look pretty close, but the pick is Park. I like him in decision. I wouldn't sleep on Nardiev, though, and I absolutely understand those who are picking him as an underdog in this position. Watched Irina interview in Russia when she told us she would go all 3 rounds just to make show. Interesting. All right. What's up, pimps? What's up, pimp? All right. So rounds over 1.5 rounds is minus 325. Under is plus 225. Over 2.5 is minus 165. Under is plus 125. I don't understand these freaking. Oh, minus 325. Yeah, I read that wrong. I thought it said 125. I'm pretty sure I just said that. Yeah, over 1.5 rounds is minus 325. That makes sense. I didn't register that properly. Winning method. All right. Nardiev by decision plus 400. Jung Park by decision plus 165. The other likely outcome is Jung Park by sub plus 425. I guess I didn't take that into account, but I really don't think he finds it here against Nardiev. So, guys, it's that simple. This fight is straightforward. Jung Park by decision. Very low confidence pick here. I think this fight is going to look super, super tough, super close. It's going to be a greasy one, but I am on the Park side here. Oh boy, Mr. Oban Elliot. I got to be honest with you. There was something about this guy I wasn't too crazy about. However, I have been proven wrong because Oban Elliot is a bad son of a gun. And guess what? He's only getting better. He is only getting better. And I think in his last performance, everybody kind of was like, oh, shit, this guy's the real deal. And he's fighting Mr. Ko over here. Mr. Ko, a lot of finishing ability, but he's making his UFC debut. And when you're making a UFC debut against an up-and-coming prospect that I'm sure the UFC has some interest in building, as someone like Oban Elliot, I think you got a problem. I think this is a setup. And the odds reflect it. Oban Elliot is minus 500. Mr. Ko is plus 375. And don't get me wrong, at any point in time, Ko could end this fight because I think he has that good striking. I think he has that power. I think there's some explosiveness to it. And he's looking to finish this fight. But Oban Elliot only getting better. I think he's going to be more composed. And in my opinion, I think Oban Elliot comes in here and he smokes him. Why he smokes him? Because he's going to mix in the grappling. And once Oban Elliot mixes the grappling, I feel it's going to be one of those fights where the opponent looks lost. Ko is going to look lost out there because the second Oban Elliot gets a takedown and they work themselves back up, Ko is going to be like, oh, shit, am I getting hit with a punch or is this guy going to shoot again? And I think he's going to look freaking disoriented in the UFC lights in Baku, UFC debut. I don't like it. What I do like is Oban Elliot, and I like him within the distance. So we'll take a look at that. All right. Total rounds. So under 1.5 is plus 220. Over is minus 325. Over 2.5 rounds is minus 160. Under is plus 120. Guys, they think Oban Elliott's going to decision with this son of a gun. I do not like that one. The only thing I will say about Ko is that he is durable. Ko by knockout plus 800. That is not a terrible prop. Oban Elliot by decision plus 110. Oban Elliot by knockout plus 300. Oban Elliot by sub plus 500. I think he really can finish this fight however he wants. Oban Elliot could win this fight by decision, by knockout, or by sub. I truly freaking believe that. He is so good all around. It's a very dangerous fight for Ko. So let's see. Oban Elliot to win by finish, yes, is plus 155. That's something I like. Fight to go the distance, no, minus 105. Ko to get a knockout, maybe. or Oban Elliot to find the finish. I like that too. Fight not to go to this is -105. Yeah, man. I would be very surprised if this fight goes the distance, man. Oban Elliot for 15 minutes, the way he looked against Hafez, that'd be something. This fight I'm staying away from. What fight is that? This one or the prior one? I like Oban to win. He's too well-rounded. It's not a lock, but I give him like an 85% chance. The other guy would have to perform really well. Isn't this card got changed to Wichita? Elliot isn't a great fighter, though, right? I think Elliot's a great fighter, and I think he's making the adjustments. I think we've only seen Elliot get better. So I like him here in this spot. I'm not paying 500 for him, -500 for him. I think that's way too expensive. But I do like this fight not to go the distance, and I kind of like Oban Elliot winning. Yeah, he's not a finisher. That's the problem. But when you get to this level where you're constantly improving and now they're going to give you somebody making their debut, now you look a lot better and then those finishes kind of open up. But I agree with you. Chances are he wins by decision, but I do kind of like a finish here. All right. Next up, Nimov, Bogdan, Grad. Guys, this is another underdog I am terrified for. Nimov is a very good fighter. Nimov can strike. Nimov can grapple. But Nimov is what I would call a complacent fighter. I think that's the right way to put it. Nimov is going to come in here and he's going to start performing. He's not going to push a pace. He's going to kind of let the fight come to him, but he's just going to park right there. Whatever his output is, he's just going to kind of park. He's a marathon runner. He's not going to hit a sprint. He's not going to hit you with a fast 400-meter. He is going to just marathon pace this fight. And the problem is, on the other hand, you have Bogdan Grad, who is going to push a hell of a freaking pace. And now the two possible outcomes here, and obviously, right, you got a 50-50 chance here to a certain extent. Bogdan Grad is going to move forward. Bogdan Grad is going to push the pace. Bogdan Grad is going to grab Nimov and do whatever the heck he can to him, and he's always going to look for a finish. He's always going to look for the excitement. And when you get guys like that, sometimes they could be very damaging or they could be very controlling. And I think Nimov has the technical ability to stay away from Grad, right? To not let him get a hold of him, to compete with him in the striking. But it won't be too convincing on the scorecard. So Nimov in this position, let's see what he's looking like. Where are you, Mr. Nimov? Where are you? Where'd that fight go? Nimov -275. To me, is a little expensive. I get the line. And then Grad +220. I think Bogdan Grad at this money is a really good value. If you're looking for an underdog, I think this is a good one. This is a real good one. But it's tough. It's tough. I don't know. I haven't decided. I don't have an official underdog lock this week, even though you'll see in one of my later fights my original underdog flipped. So we'll see. But let's talk round lines. So over 2.5 rounds is -125. Under is -105. I guess the odd makers are kind of stuck if this fight's going the distance. Fight not to go the distance, -145. Yes, is +110. So, yeah, they think this finishes inside the distance. But I got to be honest with you. I don't think Nimov finishes Grad. I think that there's a finish here. It's Grad. So, this is a real tough one. Winning method. Nimov by decision +170. Grad by decision +700. Jeez, that's a line right there. Man, that's a line right there. Bogdan Grad by decision +700. Yeah, I really like the decision on this one. I really like the decision play for plus money. If you're on the underdog side, Grad by plus money, +700 is insane. But +110 for the fight to go the distance, I really do like it. Yeah, that's the only thing I would touch here, guys. I wouldn't get specific with props. I think a lot could happen here. Yeah. This is a tough one. That's a tough one. If you want a dog, Grad is the one. Oh boy. Oh Nelly. Mr. Satakov versus Nicholas Mata. All right, guys. I'm huge on Satakov, and there's been people who really don't think he's that good. They think he's gotten a little lucky with these doctor stoppages, that he kind of starts off slow, yada 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 yada. Guys, Satakov is fucking good. It's that simple. Satakov is good. Satakov can finish people. Satakov is calculated. He's measured. His output isn't necessarily the best at times. And now he's fighting Mr. Nicholas Mata, which, in my opinion, he's very fast. He's very strong. And I used the word zippy. I said earlier. I said this guy's a bit of a zippy striker. Zippy. What the hell do I mean by zippy? I mean he's clean. I mean he's quick. I mean he's gonna zap you with his punches. And I think Mata has that same kind of striking that'll stun a few people. He's powerful. He's fast. He's clean. But he's not going to keep up with Satakov. And I think people think that this fight's going to be close. And I disagree. I think Satakov's going to come in here and he's going to steal the freaking show. And not only that, but home court advantage, baby. This guy's at home. That Baku crowd is going to be going crazy. Going to be going nuts for him. And with that being said, I bet on him within the distance. So Satakov minus 425, Mata plus 325. Guys, and if you like kind of a lock parlay, right? Because some of us worry so much about plus money, right? You want a plus something. Some people don't like laying money on a minus 140, right? You put $100, you don't get all your money back. Is it worth the risk? Those type of things. But the reality is, if you put Tagir and Satakov together, I think that's a pretty good parlay. I think that's as much as a lock as you could get in this card. So I think that's a good one. So total rounds over 1.5 is minus 130. Under is plus 100. Over 2.5 plus 150. Under is minus 210. I think Satakov gets it done. I think he does whatever he wants striking. I think he keeps up with Mata. I think his chin could hold up, but I think he takes him down. And when they get to the ground, I think he really does treat him like a little brother. He treats him like, but I'm not talking about like, oh, little brother by a year. I'm talking about like the freaking 15-year-old and the 5-year-old, like just treating him like doing whatever he wants to him. Holding him down, giving him noogies, putting boogers on his forehead, whatever it is. So yeah, I like Satakov by finish, but Satakov by decision plus 325, Satakov by knockout plus 130, Satakov by sub plus 400, Mata by decision plus 850, Mata by knockout plus 700, Mata by submission plus 3,000. Some of these guys whose only potential lies with the knockout as the underdog, same thing as Cole, the lines are kind of crazy because Mata, I don't think he knocks out Satakov, but there's always that possibility, and his strong striking and as fast as he is, plus 700 is insane. So here we go. Fight to go the distance, no, minus 275. Yes, is plus 200. Satakov to win by finish, yes, is minus 150. No, is plus 115. Guys, and the reality is, and I didn't mention this about Mata, but Mata's been finished before. We've seen his chin tested by guys who don't really pack the power or the technical ability that Satakov has in the striking department. So I think it's light work for Satakov, guys. That's one of my locks. Moving on. Oh boy, Mr. Olbai. One of my favorites, really. So Orobai, Musayv, and Orobai. All right, Orobai sitting as a minus 160. I think the odds are closing a little bit. Musayv plus 130. I don't understand the line. I'm still trying to figure out why I'm being played or where the money's coming in, because I cannot figure it out, guys. Musayv hasn't fought in like 2 years. Making a UFC debut. When you go down the line, he's never really fought anybody who's relevant. He's a finisher, and that's one thing I think everybody has to take into account. I think that's what everybody fears, right? Like when some guy's coming in who's finishing everybody in the regional scene. Oh shit, is he gonna come in and start starching everybody? Look at Wellmaker, little things like that, right? But he hasn't fought anybody. And now you're gonna put him against. Take a good look at this guy, guys. Don't look down here at me. Look at Orobai. Look at that guy. There's two things that could kill that guy, right? A spear to the heart, or a boulder that's pushed off a cliff on some sort of trap that was made for him. Because that guy, number one, his face is massive. It's like the size of a door. And he's just one durable son of a gun. And I know there's some comedic value in that, but that guy literally looks like he was unfrozen, that he was preserved in some sort of fucking museum. And Dana White paid enough money to get him around here. That's what I feel here. And Orobai's very good, very durable, and he is a relentless wrestler. A relentless wrestler. And we saw he can be finished. When Rebecca literally was giving him everything. He threw the chicken, look at me, I almost said the kitchen sink at him, and he couldn't get it done. So you're going to bring in this guy who hasn't fought in 2 years, is known for finishing nobodies. You're going to bring him into the UFC. on his debut, put him in a main card in Baku, and you're going to think he finishes Orobai? Are you fucking kidding me? Fuck no. And if he doesn't finish Orobai, we're going to decision. And if we go to decision, what we know is that Orobai was riding this guy, pause, for quite some time. So I'm going to take Orobai here. I think the money line is great. I love him at minus 160. I threw him in a parlay. Maybe I'm being fooled. Maybe I come back next week and I'm like, they got me. Total rounds over 1.5 is minus 240. Unders plus 170. Over 2.5 is plus 100. Unders minus 130. So they think Orobai or our gentleman over here finds a finish. I think Orobai takes this to decision and just wins it that way. Orobai by decision plus 260. Orobai by knockout plus 450, Orobai by submission plus 400. So I guess the sub is somewhat likely. Musayv by decision plus 550. By knockout, he's plus 275. So I think they're really holding on to this guy's striking, man. And then Musayv by submission plus 2,000. Guys, this simple. Orobai's the pick. He comes in. He's a relentless wrestler. He will find a way to get Musayv down to the ground. Is Orobai hittable? Hell yes. Does he get hit? Yes. But we've seen it time and time again how durable he is. I'm not going to bet on him being finished when he just went to war with Rebecca, and we saw how that turned out. And he could have gotten the nod there, to be honest with you. Moving on. I like him in a parlay. Curtis Blades, Rizvan Kunv. Now, if you take my logic for the last fight and you apply it here, there's some similarities. Some similarities to that. And my problem is I could be a professional Blades fader in my betting career, because I think Curtis Blades is one of the most foolish mixed martial artists out there. And it just so happens he's a heavyweight. So it's a problem when you make mistakes as far as IQ goes. There is zero reason why Curtis Blades should be striking against anybody. The guy is also a relentless wrestler, but he doesn't utilize it. Right? So when you're in the heavyweight division and you're going toe-to-toe with Tom Aspinall, Sergey Pavlovich, Derek Lewis, and you're not utilizing your wrestling, you know what happens to you? You go to sleep. You go night-night. And you know what happens when you go to sleep a few times in a row? Your chin's gone. Your career, it loosens up. The screws are loose. It's over. And that is my problem with Curtis Blades, because you have a heavyweight fighter who should be wrestling everybody, and he doesn't. So now he's coming up against Rizvan Kunv. And it's a sloppy guy. Hasn't dealt with UFC fighters. Hasn't dealt with contenders in the UFC like Blades has. But he's a durable dude. He's a messy dude. He's going to push this fight forward. He's going to push the pace. He's going to take his opponent to the cage. He's going to throw elbows. He is a little sloppy. He got busted for steroids, I believe. You can tell the difference now. So this is a sloppy heavyweight with some power, some finishing ability, going up against Curtis Blades, a guy who I cannot predict what he's going to do, even though it's set in stone. He should definitely wrestle. Now, Kunv can defend himself in the wrestling department, so that leaves me to believe these guys are going to be striking. And if these two are striking, I don't know what happens. And with that being said, my pick is Kunv. I'm going underdog here. I am fading Blades. I do not like the minus 275 for Blades. He's a minus 275 favorite. I think that's absolutely insane from what we've seen recently. And then Kunev's a plus 210. Am I putting money on it? Not necessarily, guys. I'm staying away from this. I think this is a fucking mess. But my pick is my pick, and I really do think Kunv could out-strengthen Blades and just, I don't know, out-tough him. So total rounds, over 2.5, minus 110, unders, minus 125. Blades by decision, plus 220. Blades by knockout, plus 140. Blades by sub, plus 2250. Kunv by decision, plus 525. Kunv by knockout, plus 650. I don't hate that. Kunv by sub, plus 1600. Fight to go the distance, yes, plus 115. Fight to go the distance, no, minus 155. Curtis Blades to win by finish, yes, is plus 130. I think there's a possibility that Blades finishes this fight. I think he can knock him out. But I'm going Kunv. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to fade Blades. I just think his fight IQ is atrocious. And I think he's going to get the best of I think Kunyev's going to get the best of him. Moving on, guys. Two more. I like Blades in this fight. I think he fights how he should fight. I think he'll be a dog fight. Yeah, let's see if he brings a brain. All right. Rafael Faziv, Ignacio Bahamundes. Guys, I was huge on Rafael Faziv. I had him to beat Gamrot in that fight. He got injured. I had him to beat Gaethje in fight number 1. And then last fight, I faded him because coming off an injury, not fighting in about 2 years, I was super weary of where I was laying my money, and Gaethje won as the underdog. And now I see this matchup, and what I see is a guy who's not old, right? Because Faziv's not old. At least in the UFC, there's still so much more potential for him. But a guy who's had problems, right? 3 straight losses, and he's coming in against Ignacio Bahamundes, someone who really hasn't dealt with the same competition as Rafael Faziv, but somebody who's up and coming, someone who has finishing ability, and someone who's going to look massive in there with Rafael Faziv. I see that the odds flipped. Ignacio was the underdog. I wanted him as an underdog. I got him as a slight favorite. And I parlayed him like an animal. I really like Faziv here as far as his movement goes, his striking, his experience, his IQ. I think he makes the right decisions. But Ignacio Bahamundes is a bad dude, man. And I think he's coming up. He has the momentum. And I think he's going to look huge in there. I think Bahamundes just needs to be careful with Faziv's footwork. And I think he may stay safe. But Ignacio Bahamundes is live for a finish here. I took a crazy prop of him by sub. I could definitely see a club and sub. We saw Faziv get knocked down by Gaethje twice in that last fight. I'm not comparing Bahamundes to Gaethje, but Bahamundes just does pack a punch. He's an intelligent fighter. I like him in this spot. 6'3" against 5'8". Again, 4-inch reach advantage. I hope he has a little better footwork against someone like Rafael Faziv, because Rafael Faziv does a really good job closing the distance. But I'm taking Bahamundes here. So Ignacio Bahamundes is now at minus 130, Faziv at plus 105. I say you just take the money line. I say you don't get too fancy, you take the money line. Total rounds over 1.5 is minus 425, unders plus 275, over 2.5 is minus 210, and unders plus 155. If you think these guys bang it out and someone finds a finish, plus 155 is a steal, but they're both durable, and I'm staying away from that. I don't like betting on the under for guys like these, because both of these guys are made out of steel. Winning method, Faziv by decision plus 250, Faziv by knockout plus 400, Faziv by sub plus 2,500, Ignacio by decision plus 175, Bahamundes by knockout plus 550, and Bahamundes by sub is plus 1,000. Faziv to win by finish, yes, is plus 350. Bahamundes to win by finish, yes, is plus 325. So there's money in the finish here. And if you think it makes it that far, I mean, it doesn't make it that far, I think that's good. I'm not buying it. I think these guys are both tough. But if there's a finish, I think Bahamundes might find it. And I really like him for the sub. But I'm not laying chalk on it. Now, let's talk about the main event. And there's going to be a few minutes of rant here. So get comfortable. Guys, Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree Jr. Let me tell you, I've really tried not to be biased recently, because I've caught myself losing a couple of strong bets because of some bias I bring into the picture, right? And I continuously fade the same type of guys, or I continuously follow the same type of guys, and that's the wrong way to look at this picture, especially as a handicapper. What I'm going to tell you here, I'm going to try to hold my bias, but I want you to see the reality of this picture. I have never thought Jamal Hill is all that. Never. Before he was champion, when he won the belt, I've never thought Jamal Hill was all that. I think he's a powerful guy in a big division that if you catch someone's chin, anybody could fall. I think there's some wrestling ability. I think he's flat-footed, some nice high kicks every now and again, but really loopy punches, always swinging for the fences. And in my opinion, in this day in mixed martial arts, that doesn't fly. If you have somebody like Jamal Hill in the early 2000s, oh shit, he would have put on some bangers. A lot of finishes, a fan favorite. But we're in a different era. We're in an era where technical ability is almost everything. Preparation is almost everything. Your diet, your camp is almost everything. Your coach's ability to read your opponent is everything. This is as precise of a sport as it's ever been. And to me, Jamal Hill's not in it, and he's just not all of that. With that being said, on the other hand, Khalil Roundtree just came off of one of the best performances he's ever put up, and it was against Alex Pereira. And it's tough because I try not to love guys off a loss, right? But did he look good? Absolutely. My battery's about to die. I gotta wrap this up. Did he look good? Absolutely. But it was a performance of a lifetime. And I'm gonna give Jamal Hill the benefit of the doubt because he looked great against Glover Teixeira. But I could argue that Glover Teixeira was seconds away from retiring. So who do I go with in a fight like this? You know who? I'm going to go with the guy who's consistent, the guy who has somewhat of momentum, was that's Khalil Roundtree, even though he took a loss to Alex Pereira. I'm not going to take the guy who's taken 2 back-to-back KOs. I'm not going to take the guy who walks around with a belly and terrible diet and no training camp. I'm not going to take Jamal Hill because he's not invested in this. Can Jamal Hill find the finish here? Absolutely. And I feel like a lot of people are betting on that. But I'm going to assume Khalil Roundtree is going to be as durable as he was against Alex Pereira. And I don't think Jamal Hill finishes Khalil Roundtree. But if we have to go 25 minutes of striking, which is what I think is going to happen, because I don't think Jamal Hill is going to go to the wrestling, even though he should. I think Khalil Roundtree picks him apart. He pushes a pace on Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill is going to be flat-footed, and he's going to be caught. Anybody could finish this fight. But if I'm putting my money on it, I say Khalil Roundtree does. I love Khalil Roundtree at this spot. He's minus 120 right now. Jamal Hill's minus 105. I think it's going to flip. If I'm you, I wait for Khalil Roundtree to become the underdog. I'll put all my money on Khalil Roundtree in this fight because Jamal Hill hasn't given me enough. He hasn't given me enough. And he looked a little better against Hiri. But that was a 3-round fight. And you know what? Hiri just made the right reads because Jamal Hill walks in there to take off his opponent's head. And I just don't think that happens with Khalil Roundtree. Khalil Roundtree is a smarter fighter. I think he's going to be quicker. He is hittable, but he's going to be stronger. I think he's going to see those loopy punches coming from a mile away. He has a good guard. If Khalil Roundtree is as defensively sound as he was against Alex Pereira, I think he kills Jamal Hill. And it could be a knockout or it could be 4-1 in the judges' scorecard. Khalil Roundtree is my pick, and I like him by decision or by knockout. Let's see these lines. Jamal Hill by decision plus 475. Jamal Hill by knockout plus 200. Jamal Hill by sub plus 2250. Roundtree by decision plus 850. Roundtree by knockout plus 135. Roundtree by sub plus 2250. Fight to go the distance, yes, plus 260. Guys, I could see this fight going the distance. My concern is Jamal Hill in the championship rounds. He's gonna gas. Fight to go the distance, no, minus 375. Hill by finish, yes, plus 180. Khalil by finish, yes, plus 125. Khalil Roundtree, total significant strikes, the line's 57.5. All right, so parlays. This is my thing right here, guys. Khalil Roundtree and the fight to go over 2.5 rounds, yes, plus 300. I really like that one. And then lastly, what I would do, guys, even though I have them in a parlay, so I might not do it, I like Roundtree by decision or knockout. Let me see if I find that bet here. I don't find that bet. I don't find that bet. You son of a gun. Hopefully that comes out, guys. The pick is Khalil Roundtree. I think he goes the distance or he finishes Jamal Hill in rounds 3, 4, or 5. It's going to be a banger. It's that simple. I've never been big on Jamal Hill. Call me biased. It is what it is, guys. Always a freaking pleasure, guys. Like you suggested, I started doing the live streams. If you like them more, show me some love. Leave comments, likes, share this video. 13 of you, I'll take that any day of the week. It's hard to talk to 2 people, but if I have 10, 20, 30, I love that. So we're pretty consistent with that, guys. If you want my exclusive bets, don't forget to check out my Instagram, $4.99 a month, just to see what I'm freaking doing. You'll see my picks on the gram. And then, of course, I'm on Winnable. I'm going to post that link here in the comments as soon as this video is over. It's $10 a month, but you get text notifications to your phone. It's been an absolute pleasure, guys. UFC Baku. We'll talk when it's over. Have a good one.